What's up, team? We're gonna go over everything that you need to know about
Bulgarian split squats.
because everyone loves them.
Oh yeah.
We love them. So first thing I wanna do is go over the setup, how exactly to set them up. Then we're gonna go over different variations that you can do. And then we're gonna go over some more advanced movements towards the end. So make sure you stick through to the entire video.
Oh yeah, and then we're also gonna show you some common mistakes. So make sure you're taking some notes because a lot of us are doing these and don't even know. So let's get started, let's go. All right, so Angela's gonna start by showing us the setup. There's a lot of variations, so we're just gonna show you two of our favorites. So here's one where she's actually gonna walk out a couple steps. So Angela is gonna use her foot as a guide. She's gonna start at the end of the bench and she's gonna take 2 feet steps forward. So she's gonna step back and then watch her. She's gonna step 1 foot, 2 foot, and then she's gonna find a comfortable stance. And then you just bring one leg back onto the bench. And this is a great way to see the proper distance for you. Another way to set up too is to start by sitting on the bench. This one's a little bit different. Angela, do you like this one?
This one can be, I feel like weird for me sometimes.
This one's awkward. So if you're having a hard time with the normal setups, try this one out. It might be the one for you. So she's actually gonna sit down on the bench on her knee. And what she's gonna do is she's gonna extend out the front leg all the way. And where that leg lands is where she's gonna start her setup. And then same distance. So everyone's a little bit different. Some of us are gonna be a little bit farther from the bench. Some of us are gonna be closer. So it all depends on your body.
You can also start from the bottom. So if you wanna start down here, get into your lunge position literally from the bottom, and then you can just raise up and you'll know exactly where you're supposed to be. And then when you wanna switch, just match your feet together and then switch to the other side.
And I love how she mentioned that one because it's not the most common one that you'll see coaches use, but it's actually, I feel like it's the most practical. I think it's the most practical.
Another thing to take note of, I just wanna make sure our microphone, we only have one microphone.
We're sharing.
We're sharing a microphone. Also make sure when you do your stance, you don't wanna be like a top rope type situation when you're doing it. You wanna make sure that you are 1 foot to the left, 1 foot to the right, and you go down there. Sometimes people try and go in a little tight rope situation and they're just kind of like wiggling all over the place. So definitely make sure of that. So now that we know how to set it up.
So what we're gonna show you next is the most, we're gonna show you the most common variations with the Bulgarian split squat. So one is gonna be more squat focused, one is more quads, and then the other one is more hinge focused, more booty. So we're gonna show you what that means right now. So Angela's gonna show you her favorite setup. She's doing it from the bottom. All right, so what Angela's gonna do is she's gonna try to keep her spine super vertical. We call this vertical spine. This is gonna be a little bit more squatty. All right, so she's gonna just go into her Bulgarian split squat normally. And this variation with her spine more upright, she's actually doing more quad. So if you wanna hit the quads, do this variation. If you want more booty though, a lot of us are here for the booty gains, you're actually gonna lean forward. So she's gonna lean forward a little bit. It's very slight. You can actually come up tall standing every time, but she's gonna descend with a lean in her body. But watch, she can come up to normal standing position every time, and then as she descends, she's leaning a bit more. This is our favorite variation if you wanna know. But yeah, these are the two main ones. This is what's gonna differentiate more quads and more booty. We're gonna show you some more stuff later.
So I've had a couple clients who come up to me and said that, here, we'll have Francesca show this thing. I've had a couple clients that come up to me and say, hey, I can't really balance on 1 foot when I do this whole situation. So what I tell them to do is grab, you can grab a dowel, you can actually grab onto the side of, if you're next to a wall, and you could use that as support to help you and guide you while you're doing this. So this will allow it to be a little less intimidating, but you can always start with this so you have a little extra support while you're doing this. And you can still do the same thing. You can lean forward to get more of that hinging motion, or you can go straight up and straight down with using that stick. I'm calling it a stick. Another thing that we see is, some people, there's like this whole debate on whether it's like toes down on the bench or you do shoelaces down on the bench. Typically, I like to do this one for my client because you're really trying to get most of the weight on the front foot. This is really a single leg movement. And a lot of times what people do if they tuck their toes under is they're gonna put a bunch of weight down here and they're not gonna put enough into that front leg. But it really isn't wrong. There's really no wrong way to do it. So if you feel more comfortable with putting your toes up, go for it. But again, remember, this is supposed to be more in this front leg and you're not supposed to be really pushing on that back leg a lot.
Angela's gonna show you some of our common mistakes that we see. So what's this one, Angela?
This one's the you get up and then you're like,
She's hopping around too much. She can't find her center. She's losing balance. So you correct this by doing some of the things we talked about. You want to make sure you're kind of wider. You're not standing on one single line. You have enough distance from the bench. You use a proper setup for it. What else do you see, Angela? Oh, the lean back. No core engagement in the front. Honestly, just a weak foundation in general. And remember, everything starts from your feet up. So on this exercise, I love to tell my clients to grip their foot to the floor. So one thing we also see is like the knees caving in. That is a huge one. Yeah, that one's debated sometimes, but the only time your knees should ever cave in is when you're jumping up and you're an athlete. Other than that, or should your knees be caving in?
No, definitely not at all. We will call that knee valgus, with your knees come in a lot. So you definitely want to make sure. Sometimes, if you need to correct that, you can have somebody stand there too and like put their hand there to make sure that you don't and push into it.
Yeah.
You can also put a band. That's like a whole other thing. But you can set up a band also to push on it to make sure that you're not caving in. So definitely important. I always suggest to people, film yourself. Film yourself doing the Bulgarian Split Squat. Film yourself doing any movements, because you will be able to see things that you don't realize when you're actually doing it.
And film yourself from different angles. If you just film yourself from the side and you're someone who has like weak knees, you're not going to see that knee caving in from the side as much. So think about it from different perspectives.
And now the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to show you a couple different variations that you can use that are more advanced, but you can also, I mean, honestly, like anybody can really do some of these movements. So
we're all advanced if you really think you are.
Haha, let's go. So the first one she's going to show here is the eccentrics. I mean, she's going to go super, super slow. So time under tension here. She yells at me all the time. I always do mine way too fast. You're going to feel this a lot more. What does the eccentric actually do?
So the eccentric is creating length in those muscles. So when you're creating length in the muscles, you're actually creating tiny itty bitty micro tears in those muscles, but that's what creates growth and stronger muscles. So the eccentric is that down motion. So, and I even like to think of it as a pause on the bottom too. So you have the eccentric and then pause and then come up nice and strong.
We do that especially too with our pull-ups. It's how we build a lot of strength. So again, going nice and slow to build that muscle strength. Faster isn't always better. Better is better. Don't forget it. Better is better. Okay, next what we're going to show is the rotation. So you can actually do your Bulgarian Split Squat and turn towards that standing leg. This is actually, yeah, you're going to feel that way more in the booty. So I always suggest to do this one. This, I feel like it is a little bit more advanced. Make sure that you're really careful with the positioning of your foot. You don't want to mess up that back knee and twist it too much. So nice and tall here. When you get down, you're rotating nice and slow down to the bottom. So rotational. Oh, yeah.
All right, now Angela is going to elevate the front leg. So her front leg is going to be up on the plate, and this is going to help her actually get deeper into that so that your knee is not hitting the ground when you want to go super deep. Also great for people that are still beginners. I suggest taking your time with this and progressing this. This is something that you want to do with body weight first and get your load progressively higher. So what that means is if you're a super strong person, don't just automatically start going into these. Like maybe try it with a light weight. If you're a newer person, do this body weight first for a couple weeks, go into a lighter weight, and then little by little start adding more weight. But like anything, when you're doing different variations, sometimes you'll have to go lighter in weight, even if you're seasoned in that exercise.
Technique first. Form over everything. I want to make sure this is like form over everything, you know, like whole situation.
This is Angela's favorite. It's funny because this is Angela's favorite, and honestly, it's my least favorite. Every time she's like, do you want to do this one? I'm like, I want to hold the weight the whole time. I want to suffer. But this one's really good because this one hits different muscle fibers because you're using muscles under load, but then you're also doing stuff body weight. So it's really cool. All right, so what Angela's going to do, she calls this one a Bulgarian weight exchange. So she's going to come up with the weight. She's going to put the weight down, and then she's going to come up with just body weight. So you're alternating, coming up with the load, coming down with the load, coming up body weight, coming down body weight. And this is a great one to add in some tempo play. Like we said, eccentrics are fantastic. Use them in all your exercises. All right. And one of the most athletic ones that was very popular during the pandemic.
You look fancy. I technically like to pair this one. If I'm going to do, I'll do a regular one first. So I like to, you know, the PAP, what is that called? KIP, what's it stand for again?
No idea.
Post, whatever. We'll put it on the screen when I remember what it's called. But basically what you do is you compare a strength movement with an explosive movement. So this is going to be, you can do like a nice one with just some weight first, do a couple, and then add a couple explosive ones at the end.
Oh, I feel like this is like French contrast training. I'm more of like Trainer World. I know stuff by like their dumb name, but yeah. So she's gonna do that technique where you sit down, extend the leg, and she's gonna load that and come up nice and explosive, and she's gonna bring up that knee. So this one's gonna be like a high knee Bulgarian split squat, and she's really controlling that landing. Look at that, her knee never caves in. She's stable, looking gorgeous.
Another thing you can do to make a little more advancements too is with the Bulgarians, you can stay at the bottom. You can do a couple holds. You can hold at the bottom. You can do like 2 pulses at the bottom and then come back up. So you can do really so much with this.
We actually miss one of the best variations ever, just an isometric hold. Hello.
Oh, hello. Yes, hold. Just holding that. Hold it. If you want to slow down time ever, just do something like this. Just hold it. Just time yourself for a minute. You'll be like, this is the longest minute of my life. We're going to look at the list now. Someone just did a whole video on how they hate when people hold the mics like this. We're doing it because we only have one, so get over it.
I hate it.
So like, I hate when people hold the mics like this. You know what? Sometimes you need to hold it because we don't have another one right now. It's the only one's not working.
All right, so hope you guys liked this video. And remember, if you're a little bit more advanced and you're trying all these variations and you still want more, put less weight on the back leg. Remember, this is a pseudo single leg exercise. So you're using 2 legs, but you're trying to simulate just one. So if you really want to make it hard, you could even like kind of try to lift that back leg. I've seen people do that, but it's still too hard for me. I'm not there.
The back leg is literally just there for a little additional support, so nothing super crazy. So let us know if you like this video. If you have any questions about it down below, or if there's another movement that you want us to break down and go through some more stuff for us, just comment down below. Let us know. We're here to help, and we're here to make it fun. And
Thanks for watching.
Bulgarian Split Squats. Let's go.